Sorry for being late for you that are waiting for us on the live streaming. I had some technical issues and worked those technical issues out. And it's basically working with voice, microphone, and trying to make sure that that is properly working and you guys can hear me okay. So, working on my Latin America book and theory. And where we are right now. So we are in the very, very, very ancient past of the United States. Actually, not the United States. We're getting there. Don't rush the project, Charles. We are in the very beginning of the documentation of the importance of Galicia, of Iberia, Spain, in the whole rollout of the history of the world. And it's something that's new to a lot of you, but for me, it's something that has been going on for a while. So I will get you guys caught up in this very special process. Pottery shards. Pottery shards are the lifeblood of archaeology, and a lot of folks are not that familiar with pottery shards, but we're going to go through it, and we're going through it in the structure of the map that we were studying yesterday, and we will be studying today. We are studying this atlas map. And this map comes from France, and it is in a large book that has a variety of maps. And this is a very old map to begin with, but it's using older information that is being portrayed in the sorry, just doing some more technical work, in the rendition of it. So if we can take a look as we were doing yesterday, just to get us caught up today, this is French, and it is saying Carte de l'Espagne ancienne, and that is basically saying ancient Spain, a map of ancient Spain. How old is it? How old is it? It's so old. No, we're not going to make funny puns. It's pulling Roman information. It's pulling Latin information. We can tell that because the top line is French miles. That is a key for French miles. These maps are so accurate that you can use them for navigation, whether on land or traveling the coast. So it's so accurate that it has a key for you to be able to measure the miles. If you're in France, you're going to be measuring French miles. Roman miles don't make any sense to you. But this is pulling from Roman data, so they're including the Roman miles, the Latin miles. And that is absolutely key. But then again, the language that is on the map. We are going to concentrate our efforts today, as we were yesterday, in the upper northwest of the Iberian Peninsula. And just for clarification that, yeah, this is Latin, we have Lusitania here. Lusitania, very well established region of Roman Iberia. So this, and then you have Oceanus Atlanticus. You cannot get more Latin than that. Oceanus Atlanticus. That is as Latin. It's not Spanish, it's not French. It is Latin, double Latin. And we are going to go up here to the upper west of the Iberian Peninsula. And This region was called Tarragone, or Tarragonestis. Tarragonestis. And that is a great name to decipher, but we're not going to do that right now. Right now, we're going to be working with our tribe that we are very close to right now, the Artabri. And as you see in the thumbnail, the Artabri, and I just think it's proper to call them Arta, the Arta. I think Artabri is Bri is saying the tribe, the Arta tribe, and so I think they are the Arta, and they are here in Galicia. And let me put this so you can see it better. So even way back before the full settlement of the Iberian Peninsula by the Romans, this is just the beginning of the colonization. They had already named this region Galicia. This is a very ancient name, very, very ancient. And you can see it radiating from the top on down here, and using that special AE that is so very Latin. So this has brought the receipts, and this is undoubtedly a Latin map. How could it be? How could the French people have a map like this? Because the Romans had that special technology called acid etching. And this was something that the Phoenicians had, that the Greeks had, and the Romans had famously, because they loved to write and print books. And that's how they printed books back then, was using acid plates, copper plates with acid etching. And that is a long and tedious process. And that's why whenever the Gutenberg printing press was established, where you could have different letters, then you could change pages up real fast. But to do it back then, it was you had a copper plate, and everything had to be etched by hand. And yeah, this is what was rendered. Beautiful and artistic. Take a look at the detail of the mountains. This is one of the best representations of the Pyrenees Mountains that there is. And it is perfect, it is wonderful, and this is a long time ago. So the Latins had a technology that today escapes us, of how they were able to do it and what they were able to do. So it's impressive. It is impressive. So here is our tribe that we are very focused on, the Artabri. And we have several things named after them. First of all, the Artabrum Portus. So this is the port of the Artabri. And this is a pretty famous area now. It has a Latin Roman stone bridge, very long, very wide. Hope to go see it pretty soon, but this is before all of that was established. So this is pre-colonization of, or not pre, I would say initial colonization of the Iberian Peninsula by the Latins. And what I can tell you is I don't see any violence. The literature that we have now says the Romans invaded the Galician region, and it was violent. It was maybe, but I don't see it here. I see all these town names and in Latin, and I see a slow movement and bringing in of Latin communities, and then establishing a Latin presence here and re-educating the populace. Taking them out of the roundhouse community, the Castros, and then putting them into nice square buildings. So that's what we see. And to back this up, okay, we have their name here, the Artabri, and then you have another group, the Medieros, but the Artabri is really written in a bold ink. And this is their promontory, Artabrum promontorio, Prius Celticum. Prius Celticum. That means previously it was Celtic. So that puts the question, how old were the Celtic tribes? And that's a conversation that we may be having pretty soon, because this may be that the Celtic tribes moved over to Ireland, escaped over to the British Isles, way farther than I was imagining, and for different reasons. So this is the port of the Artabri people, and Artabri, get it right. And here we have Grandi Medium. We're going to focus on that today because that's a big part of my life and a big part of the basis of this book, which is Latin America. And we're focusing on why it is called Grandi Medium. And here I have the answers for you with pottery shards, something that we'll be studying a lot of. So to cut to the chase, and you can finish the video after this, the reason that it was called Grandi Medium is because this peninsula was covered in upside down jars or urns. This one is glass, as you can see. And this one is from another area, but it is also glass. Especially, you can see it right there. This is just such a fine piece. And yes, it does have writing on it, on the inside. So, what's so special about these? Well, this is one great example. This is the inside of the urn, or the vase, and then this is the outside. Okay? Notice that the glazing inside is pretty much perfect, but the glazing on the outside is absolutely worn, blasted, basically like sandblasted down to the clay. And the reason for this, I can say by showing you this piece right here. The glazing on the inside is basically fine, reflective and everything. And then the glazing on the outside is worn down completely. And then on the bottom, it is perfect. So this is the inside, this is the bottom, and then this is the outside of this vessel. And you can see this is upside down, but right side up. Camera. Sorry, my fault. Right side up. You can see this pottery shard perfectly. That's the edge. This is the outside. And then this is the inside. And so that's a signature that I have for all of these pottery shards in this bag. And this isn't like I went collecting individual pieces. No, 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 no. This is from me collecting potatoes in my garden. And the gardens here are called huertas. And I can actually show you right now where it is. So, let me get this. It's turned itself off. So let me get this guy going again, and I can show you where we got it. But you see the name there, Grandi Medium, which means great vision or great wonder in Latin. And it was seeing all of these guys in me see. All right. So right there, where you see the orange house, right in front of it is where I got all of these pottery shards. And that is a live view of it right now. So you can see off in the distance the Atlantic Ocean, and then the mountain, which is a sacred mountain that had the pottery shards. And I got this from a 3 by 3 foot, 3 meter by 3 meter or 3 yard by 3 yard area, just 9 square feet. I was getting the potatoes I planted earlier in the year, and I kept on coming up with all of these pottery shards. And they all have the exact same signature. The outside is completely weather worn, sorry about my nails, and the inside glazing is perfect. Look how reflective that is. And the outside is weather worn. And look how thin this piece is, unimaginably thin. Same with this piece. Same with this piece, which is really thin too. Look, inside glazing, outside is completely weather worn. And that, it doesn't look like it on camera, but in person, I don't know how they did that. We really cannot do a piece that thin now, fire it and glaze it, something that thin. You can't throw that on a wheel. It'll collapse. So yeah, they had some amazing technology. And I've got a bag like this size full of the glass pieces. And so you can just tell by the color. And they have the same signature too. Outside, you can feel the weather wearing. And the inside is basically smooth. This one has been, and this one has been in surf for a while, and so it's a little more worn. But they have the same signature if you rub them. Inside is smooth. Outside, you can feel how it's been roughed up. And look, this is a basic day here. During the winter especially. So right now it is gray. For the last 2 months, we probably had about 3 days of good weather. No, I'm exaggerating. Maybe 10, no more than 12 good days of weather, and not anything much. The weather here is like England. It rains hard. The wind is just brutal and whipping. And then then we have just brutal weather, just brutal weather. No, the wind and the rain combine here to just make it, for some folks, absolutely miserable. I kind of like it. I get to do all the work they get to do. So I have the proof of the weather, and this is basically where I live. If I zoom in, that's about as much as I can zoom in. But if you can see my mouse pointer, where Grande Medium is, I am right in this area. So basically I live right here, and this is the Atlantic Ocean that you see. Damara means this is the sea. This little bay that we have in here is the sea. And do I have a different map that reflects this? Yeah, I do. And it's a previous map to this one. So it is basically a younger map. And let me see if I can pull it up for us. Give me a second. And where are you? Where are you? Where are you? All right, see if I need to pull this. Yeah. So I'm going to be pulling a picture, not the website, but yes. So this, oh no, actually this is older. That's not the map I wanted. Sorry guys. Let's see if this is it. No. I had meant to prep for this, but I obviously failed. Ah, okay, here it is. Again, this is pulled from a big atlas, but this is just that northern section. So we again see the Artabri here. Artabre, which seems to be the Greek version. Artabri is the Latin version. And then we have Grandi Medium. And then we have Promontorio Nidum Celticum. So this is when the Celtic people were still acknowledged here. This is prior to this. Okay? Because the Nidum Promontorium is now what it is called. But the original effort in documenting this area, again, they have the mountains perfectly, the Latins do, and they have a lot of Latinization of towns, but this is pretty much I guess invasion is a word for it, pre-invasion, pre-colonization, but everything here has an original name to it, Latinized, and then Brigantium is where the port is, and that becomes the important port of here Dobreka. So this area right here. So yeah, this is an amazing map, and the area was called Sayak, which I guess is a term for Celtic. But there you have the Artabri. They were well established. There's Grandi Medium, doesn't have the Mara there documented yet, but yes, this has a very old patina to it and an absolutely well-established provenance. And through these shards, I can tell you it's a Celtic provenance, a Celtic provenance, because it was only the Celtic peoples, the Celtic peoples. I've got to get used to saying Celtic. I'm saying both because most of the Americas are used to Celtic, but it is actually Celtic, the pronunciation. But they are the only ones that practice the inverted jar, the inverted urn tradition when burying their dead. They are the only ones that did this practice. And this came from the mountain where Grandi Medium is. So this is part of the grand vision, the grand wonder, the great wonder that everybody saw was thousands and thousands and thousands of these upside down, these urns. These were all whole and complete before the Catholic Reformation. But up until the Latin times, because I have in my collection, which is, ta-da, what we call Samian ware, or terra staglata. And this is the inside of the Samian ware pot or urn, and then this is the outside. So Samian ware is noted Latin Roman pottery. It was a process done by the Romans, and it defines Roman Roman vessels. So that's why pottery shards are great for dating. We know without a doubt that the Romans were here, the Latins were here. This was inverted and had the weather wearing. And then on the inside, the glazing is fine. It's all on all of the pieces that I have. It's all perfect like that. Okay? Every piece has a signature. Was this a Roman doing the practice? It could be. But what this says is that it goes on perfectly well, the Celtic tradition of inverted burials, well into when the Romans were here. So the Romans did not stop that practice, and it continued on through Roman times, and then when Roman Catholicism took over, these urns were destroyed, and that's how they become pieces like this. And they haven't been in the ground, moved in the ground that much. They still have sharp edges, so we know that they weren't destroyed naturally. That something broke it, an unnatural process, and that that here in Murcia, in Galicia, they did potatoes. They don't have any machinery to really stir up the dirt. So the pottery shards here are amazing, in an amazing condition. And they speak to a very ancient Celtic tradition of inverted burial urns. Yeah, so it's an amazing discovery, and it starts the launching point of Latin America. It's quite the story. So we will pick up on this tomorrow, go further into the pottery shards, and try to determine some dates for them, which we've been able to, and we'll probably use artificial intelligence to help us do that. See if it can recognize pottery shards. That'll be fun. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in Latin America. We have found the Artabri tribe in the pottery shards of here in Murcia. The goal was achieved, and we understand this was a Celtic area, and we have Celtic burial traditions. So pretty exciting stuff. If you're into history, archaeology, Romans, and Celtic stuff. So yeah, it's exciting for me, and I hope it continues to get exciting for you. Please leave a comment in the comments section, and we will talk to you very, very soon.